Breaking news, we have our first college football player opting out of the 2020 season. Virginia Tech's top cornerback, Caleb Farley, a projected first-round pick, is opting out. He says he wants to spend the year training for the NFL draft and is uncomfortable playing this year, according to the report. Now, this was a big-time cornerback who has big-time aspirations in the National Football League, so this is a blow for the Hokies and for college football. Likely more of this coming. Let's bring in Jonathan Jones, our senior NFL insider. Jonathan, I understand this was a decision that he made after seeing a lot of big NFL names deciding to opt out of the season.
That's right. That's what he said in a video he just posted to Instagram. He referenced the obvious uncertain health conditions, the long-term health concerns with this, and certainly the safety protocols and measures that his college and other colleges are trying to figure out to play this college football season. We all understand the difficulties around that. He also referenced losing his mother to an illness more than 2 years ago and how he did not want to lose another family member due to an illness, certainly with COVID-19. Now, he was, on 24/7 Sports, he was the number 16th ranked player in the recent top 50. So this guy, you know, if he played this season, maybe a surefire first round pick. I think right now he's right there on the fringe of, you know, late first round, early second round, plenty left to figure out. But I want to take you back to a conversation I had with one general manager last week who sort of kind of put me on to this a little bit, not specifically Caleb's situation. And again, anyone who is opting out for this season, whether it's college or pro, these are all individual, intimate, and personal decisions. But he said, listen, by and large, a lot of these guys, the first or second day NFL draft prospects, and so that's the first, second, or third round guys, they may already have agents back channeling to them, hey, you might want to sit out this season. Why don't I pay you some, not pay you money, but allow you to train at some of these top-notch facilities, the same facilities that these athletes train in from January up until late February for the combine. Go ahead and get that rolling in the fall into the spring. That appears to be what Farley's doing. And I spoke with a couple of scouts earlier who said, listen, this could be good for a guy like him. It also could backfire big time on some players who might think their stock is a little better than it actually is. I don't think that's going to be the case for Farley, because he is a fantastic athlete who will not last past the second round of this NFL draft and may very well go in the first round. But this is not unexpected. Again, in NFL circles, they have been expecting this, whether the opt-out is for real medical reasons or really just to train for the NFL season and not risk losing anything in games in which you are not getting paid. And so, again, one GM told me he was fully expecting this. Scouts that I've spoken to were expecting this. An agent I texted with in the past 15 minutes said, yep, floodgates are about to open.
Interesting. Floodgates. That's not good for college football, but it might be good for the players. Obviously, the upside is not going on campus and not being around a ton of people. I think a lot of college football fans were thinking this might be the case in the spring, right? If you have college football in the spring, you're going to have a lot of the big names opting out. I'm not sure many thought that this would happen in the fall. Why is it that these NFL GMs and executives believe this could be the right way to go for a lot of these guys?
I'm not sure that spring football was ever really going to work with the NFL, because the NFL doesn't move for anything, right? We've been seeing that since March. It doesn't matter what's going on. The NFL is going to do what the NFL is going to do. So college football wants to move it to the spring. Okay, well, we're still going to have our draft in late April, is what I believe the NFL would say. And I think if you are a 19, 20, 21-year-old who is hoping to play in the NFL and wants to be drafted in 2021, you should very well, as of today, expect that the draft is going to take place in late April. I would not bank on thinking that the football season is going to move to the spring and the NFL is going to adjust its calendar. Absolutely not. The NFL has not really adjusted its calendar for coronavirus. It's not adjusting its calendar for you. And so as you sort of look around, this makes a lot of sense. Again, it's personal. It's a private decision that all of these guys have to take stock of and figure out what is best for them and their family. But it also offers, and I'm I'm not saying this about Caleb at all, but it also offers any other player who believes they are Thursday or Friday talent in the NFL draft an opportunity to reasonably get out of playing college football this season and train for their big payday.
Interesting. And he might be a Thursday guy, projected first-round pick, maybe second-round pick, opting out of the college football season. Jonathan Jones says he's hearing the floodgates might be opening as it pertains to college players opting out. We're going to have much more on Virginia Tech cornerback Caleb Farley opting out and deciding to focus his energy on turning pro. We have a couple of former Florida State Seminoles, Danny Cannell and Bryant McFadden, standing by 60 seconds away. Breaking news on HQ, it's not just NFL players opting out. A college football player has opted out for the season, and he will soon be playing on Sundays. Virginia Tech cornerback Caleb Farley, a projected first or second round pick, is a big name to opt out of the college football season. He made the announcement on social media, says he's going to spend the year training for the NFL.
After much consideration with my family, I have decided to opt out of the 2020 college football season and began preparing for the 2021 NFL Draft. I am opting out due to uncertain health conditions and regulations and all the other opt-outs going on in football right now. I tragically lost my mother, Robin, January 2nd, 2018 to an illness, and I cannot afford to lose another parent or loved one. Though the competitor in me badly wants to play this season, I cannot ignore what's going on in my heart, and I must make the decision that brings me the most peace. So thank you, Virginia Tech, my coaches, teammates, and anyone else who has supported me in the past. I wish you all the best, and stay safe, and God bless.
You could tell that was not easy for him. Danny Cannell and Bryant McFadden both played their college football in standout fashion at Florida State. Bryant, since you're a cornerback, I'm going to give you the first word here. Are Jonathan Jones reporting that this could be the beginning of many college football players making this choice, that the quote-unquote floodgates might be opening?
No question. I think if you're considered a first-round, second-round, or third-round guy, and you have some health concerns either with yourself or within your family, these are things that you may consider, especially if you're part of a program that's not championship-like, a championship-like contender as well. I don't expect to see this from a lot of the powerhouses in college football, especially if there's no health concerns. But for a guy like Caleb, clearly this is very, very since this is a very, very emotional time for him, hearing that he lost his mother. And you can tell how emotional he was just giving that statement via social media. He's done a lot for Virginia Tech. I think he could potentially be a first rounder. I mean, you see a corner who's 6'3", 200 plus pounds, who's athletic, who can play low enough to cover smaller guys. He's rangy. He loves to get his hands on wide receivers. I think he had around 4 interceptions last year, 12 PBUs. This is a guy who is a ball hawking type of corner, and they love that on the NFL side. Not to mention when you're 6'3", 6'2", you're a rangy guy. So he's done more than enough for Virginia Tech and for himself as an individual to be able to be comfortable enough to make this decision, because like I said, I don't see him getting past the second round if he is still available. But clearly he's a first round type of talent, and all you can do is support his decision, support him, and support his family, because like I said, he did more than enough for Virginia Tech.
Totally agree with everything, BMAC, you're saying. Look, we live in an environment where there's already pressure before COVID-19 from media, from agents to ask players, why are you going back for another year? You've already done enough to go to the NFL. There's already been that conversation started. Now you bring in this pandemic and a season that's up in the air and could get pushed back, and plus that pressure, I think it makes it a pretty clear-cut, easy decision for a lot of players. And I don't think any of them deserve to be criticized either. I think they all have personal decisions that they have to do what's best for them. I think BMAC hit on a couple good things, too. One, I think about why I played college football. I played to play for a championship, and I played because of the atmosphere, right? It was exciting. Well, if you're playing at a school that doesn't have a chance for a national championship and you're playing in front of no fans, it's basically really glorified, games out there that are kind of like preseason games in the NFL. Yeah, there's a record and stuff, but at some point, there's going to be pressure on you to leave then once your team is out of the playoffs. So there's a lot of different issues that come into play. I would caution guys, because I can tell you, you could get passed up. I think if an NFL scout, look at what Joe Burrow did last year. Nobody saw him coming. I mean, he was a 5th or 6th round projected pick the year before. He vaults to the top. Who's to say there's not another DB or 2 or 3 corners that go out there and ball out? They could jump you. But if you have laid down enough film to impress the NFL teams enough to show them you're capable of playing, I think why not? Hey, you've got confidence in yourself. Go train for the combine. Stay healthy, both for COVID-19, but also due to serious injury. I think this is going to be commonplace. I'm just curious to see what the numbers are like because, BMAC, you just said 1, 2, 3 rounds if you're a first 3-round projection. So let's just say that's 100. Way more guys are going to get projected to be top 3. I think this number could easily go over 100. I mean, you're already seeing close to 25, 30 in the NFL. That's only 32 teams. We've got 130 college football teams. So I think JJ was right saying, hey, the floodgates are opening.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.